Hello, Jessica Frost Ballas here with a video for MFT stamps. Today I'm creating a three-dimensional adventure with the fun outside the box dynamic set. So let's get started. First, I've stamped the bears from Best Adventure Bears onto white cardstock, and I'm coloring them with Copic markers. I'm using my favorite E70s range for the bears, and RV shades for the balloon to mimic Seedless Preserve's Distress Oxide ink as closely as possible. As you'll see, I spend a lot of time working on the curves of my balloon to try to get a little more dimension. In hindsight, I should have been braver and added a much darker shade. It's a good reminder to not be afraid of using those dark markers. Anyway, after I finished coloring, I die cut the bears with the coordinating dynamics. Next, I blended a panel of Strathmore Bristol smooth cardstock with Distress Oxide inks and the Micro Cloud Edge stencil. I'm using Tattered Rose, Dried Marigold, and Seedless Preserves. I want a really soft blend, so I use blending brushes to apply my ink, focusing most of the color right up against the edge of the stencil. Once I was finished, I die cut the panel using the smaller large rectangle from the Outside the Box dynamic set. Then I die cut the larger rectangle from the Outside the Box set for the background of my blended panel and two of the long scored pieces for the sides of my box. I folded the long panel pieces along the two score lines and added score tape to the tabs. Then I removed the adhesive backing and adhered the tabbed end to the opposite end of the other panel, and repeated the process with the other tab. This creates my box shape. Then I applied adhesive to the back of the blended panel and adhered it to the large white panel. Next, I add a few lines of score tape to the bottom of the white panel and adhere it inside my box. This allows you to decide how much of the panel will be showing. I put mine about halfway inside of the box to show off more of the background, but also to make sure it was still nice and sturdy. Next, I die cut the Summertime Polka Dots paper pad using the smaller rectangles in the outside the box set to create the front and side panels of my box card. I needed to create a few clouds and thought that the outside the box Snowdrift dynamic set would pass for clouds, so I die cut a few with vellum and white cardstock. Then I folded and scored them along the side tabs and adhered two inside the box. You can also choose how far up or down you want the clouds to be inside the box, and I tucked them a little further down so the edges of the cloud lined up with the side of the box. Next, I applied a double layer of foam mounting tape to the back of the balloon and adhered it to my blended panel. I like that it gives the bears a little dimension from the background. Then I stamped a sentiment from Best Adventure Bears and adhered it to the front of the box. Off camera, I also stamped a few clouds and stars from Sky High Friends, colored them with Copic markers, and die cut them with the coordinating dies. There's a set of strips in the outside the box set that can be die cut and used to adhere images to your box card scene. I die cut them from acetate and adhered them to the box to give the impression that the stars were simply floating in the sky. I find this works best with either small images or really heavy-duty acetate so that the images don't flop over from the weight. I added a few stars and clouds to the scene with acetate strips and also added a few directly to my background panel. Finally, I finished my card with a liberal use of Spectrum Noir Clear Sparkle on the balloon and stars. I love that you can fold the card flat and slide it into an envelope for easy mailing, and the recipient will get quite the surprise when they open it up. There's room on the back of the card for writing a message, or you can write and stamp messages on the side of the box as well as the front. And that's it! You can find more information on the products I used in the YouTube description below. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, have a fantastic day and happy crafting. Bye!